Hello class, we're about to start section 1.4, which is rounding and estimating. Rounding a whole number means approximating it. A rounded whole number is often easier to use, understand, and remember than a precise whole number. Here are the steps to rounding whole numbers. Step 1. Locate the digit to the right of the given place value. Step 2. If this digit is 5 or greater, add 1 to the digit in the given place value and replace each digit to its right by 0. Step 3. If this digit is less than 5, replace it and each digit to its right by 0. Now, we scroll here and it says note, when estimating sums and differences, round first, then add or subtract. So we have round 641 to the nearest 10. So the 4 is in the tens place. We look to the right of that. This 1 is less than 5, so our answer here would be 640. Now we go to number 2. We have 671,800. We want to round to the nearest 1,000. The 1 is in the thousands place. We look to the right of that. That 8 is greater than 5, so it would be 672,000. Now we go to number 3. It says round 978,965 to the nearest 100. This 9 is in the hundreds place. We look to the right of it. This 6 is greater than 5. So we will add 1 to this 9. We know this 9 will become 10. So it will give us 979,000. Now finally, number 4. It says round each number to the nearest 10 to find its estimated sum. Now if you notice here, all of the lead digits are in the tens place. So we just need to look at these digits in the ones place. If it's greater than 5, we will add 1 to the digit. And that last digit, all of the last digits will be 0. So 9 is greater than 5, so 49 becomes 50. 5 is 5 or greater, so 25 becomes 30. 2 is less than 5, so 32 becomes 30. 1 is less than 5, so 51 becomes 50. And then 8 is greater than 5, but we have to add 1 to this 9, so that becomes 100. So now we add. We end with 0. 5 and 3 is 8, plus 3 is 11, plus 5 is 16, plus 0 is still 16. And 1 plus 1 is 2. So we have 260. Now number 5, it says round each to the nearest 1,000 to find the estimated difference. Okay, now we can round this to the thousands place. We look here at this 3 and we look to the right of it. This 7 is greater than 5, so that becomes 4,000. We look to the right of this 2, which is 4. This 4 is less than 5, so that will become 2,000. So 4,000 minus 2,000 is just 2,000. And that is your final answer. Now we scroll down here to section 1.5, multiplying whole numbers in area. Section A, using the properties of multiplication. Multiplication is repeated addition. There are 3 main symbols used to indicate multiplication: the X, the dot, and the parenthesis. Also, the numbers that are multiplied are called factors. The final answer after multiplying is called the product. Here are a few properties of multiplication that will help you with multiplying whole numbers. The multiplication property of 0. It basically states anything multiplied by 0 will give you 0. The multiplication property of 1. Anything multiplied by 1 will give you the number. So 5 times 1 is 5 and 1 times 8 is 8. Now we come to these next 2 properties: commutative property and associative property. All these 2 properties state is that no matter which way you line the numbers up, if it's multiplication, it will give you the same value, or even with parentheses. So 5 times 2 and 2 times 5 will give you the same answer. In this parenthesis, 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 times 4 is 24. In this parenthesis, this is 12, and 2 times 12 is 24. It still equals even though the parentheses were shifted. Now we come to the distributive property. Now this is one of the most important properties that you're going to encounter, because you're going to see this property from now on. It says multiplication distributes over addition. It also does it over subtraction as well. Okay, so now we would take this 2 and multiply by the 3, and we would take this 2 and multiply by the 4. But before we do that, let's take a look at this. This will end up being 2 times 7, and we know 2 times 7 is 14. Okay, so in order for this to work, this must equal to 14. So we would take 2 times 3, which we have, and then we would take the sign of the 2, which is positive, so we'll put the plus here, not the plus from the parenthesis, but the plus because the 2 is positive. So we'll take 2 times 4, so it'll be a positive 2 times 4. Now let's test this. 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8, 6 plus 8 is 14. So that works. Now, we will test this out. We have example set A. 0 times 9, we know any number times 0 is 0. 1 times 55, any number times 1 is itself. 9 times 7, we know it's 63. Now, they said rewrite each using the distributive property, then solve. So we would take 6 times 5, and since the 6 is positive, we'll put a plus, so it's plus 6 times 3. We distribute over both of these numbers. 6 times 5 is 30, 6 times 3 is 18, 30 plus 18 is 48. Now, we go over here to number 5. We would take 4 times 7 plus 4 times 4. 4 times 7 is 28, plus 4 times 4 is 16. 28 plus 16 is 44. So your final answer is 44. Now we go to section B. It says multiplying whole numbers. In this section, we will go through the process of multiplying whole numbers that have at least one number with more than one digit. So now we multiply. 2 times 9 is 18. You write down your 8 and carry your 1. 2 times 8 is 16 plus 1 is 17. Now we have to put a 0 here because we're multiplying from the tens place. So we have to start all of our multiplication in the tens place. That's why we put 0 as a placeholder. 1 times 9 is 9, and 1 times 8 is 8. Now we add this. 8 plus 0 is 8. 9 plus 7 is 16. Carry a 1. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So this is 1068. Now we come to number 2. We take 8 times 7, which is 56. We carry our 5. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 5 is 21. So our answer here is 216. Now we go to number 3. We would take 5 times 6, which is 30. Carry our 3. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 3 is 38. And we carry our 3. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. So it's 1,380. Now we go to number 4. We have 5 times 6, which is 30. 5 times 1, which is 5, plus 3 is 8. 5 times 3 is 15. Now we put our 0 as a placeholder. Now we take 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times 3 is 3. Now we have to put 2 zeros here because we're multiplying from the hundreds place. 2 times 6 is 12. We carry our 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. And then 2 times 3 is 6. Now we add them. We have 0. 8 plus 6 plus 0 is 14. Carry a 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. Plus 2 is 9. And we have 1 plus 3 is 4. Plus 3 is 7. And we bring down our 6. So we have 67,940. Now we go here to section C. Multiplying by whole numbers ended in 0. When multiplying by a whole number that ends in 0, there is a pattern that makes multiplying a little easier as shown below. Basically what this is saying is that when you multiply this number times 100, you take these two zeros, and that would be the end of your number, and you would take 41 times 1, which gives you 41. So this would end up being 4,100 total. Now, there are situations where you're multiplying by a factor of 10 that your lead number is not 1. It says here, we could use a similar format to multiply by any whole number ending in zeros. For example, 15 times 500. We know that that's really 15 times 5 times 100. Now we end with these two zeros here. So we put the two zeros, as shown below here. We put the two zeros at the end, and we multiply these numbers here. 15 times 5, we see is 75. And we know 75 times 1 is 75. So that gives us 7,500. Now we could test this. We have 75 times 100, so we know we're going to end in two zeros. And 75 times 1 is 75. So our answer here is 7,500. Now we come to number 2. This ends in three zeros. Then we'll take 808 times 1, so it's 808,000. Now number 3. This ends in three zeros. Now we need to take 35 times 3. 3 times 5 is 15, carry a 1. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So it's 105,000. Okay, number 4. We have two zeros here, two zeros here. So we should have 4 zeros at the end of our answer. And then we could take 6 times 6, which is 36. So this would give us 360,000 as our final answer. Now, we scroll down here to section D. It says find the area of a rectangle. Area measures the amount of surface of a region. The picture below illustrates this. How many of these 1 square centimeter squares are in this? Now, if you notice here, we could count these blocks here and we would get 12. So it would be 12 square centimeters in the area of this rectangle. Using the following formula will help determine the area of a rectangle. Now we look here. We have length times width. The length is 4 centimeters. The width is 3 centimeters. So we have 4 centimeters times 3 centimeters, which will give us 12 square centimeters. Or you could write it like this. You could write it as 12 centimeters to the second power. That's the same thing as square centimeters. Note, area is measured in square units while perimeter is measured in units. Now, let's look here at example set D. It says the state of Wyoming is in the shape of a rectangle whose length is 360 miles and whose width is 280 miles. Find the area. Now, we know area is equal to the length times the width. Now, the length is 360. We'll add in the miles later, times 280. Now we know our final answer would end with two zeros. So we could go off to the side here and take 36 times 28. 8 times 6 is 48, carry a 4. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 4 is 28. Add 0 here. 2 times 6 is 12, carry a 1. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So we add this together, we have 8. This is 10, carry a 1. This is 1008. So we'll put our 1008 here. So this is be 100,800. And we will put miles squared, or you could put 108,800 square miles. And that is your area. Either answer would be acceptable. Okay, now we go here, solving problems by multiplying. There are several words and phrases that indicate multiplication, as there are in addition and subtraction. In the table below are some of these phrases.